Under my type, you'll see again the prohibit, the monitor, or the protect. Let's say we're going to prohibit this one. And then my source, so I can get it from my software catalog or I can get it from my scanned application. So for this one, let's opt for scan. Before we looked at the catalog, so we know how that works. So let's go for the scanned application, and I'm going to hit next. I have a few more options now across the top. So when I hit this first one, it's getting it from my custom applications. So here I can see all the custom applications that I've built up, so I could opt for one of those. Here I'm just going to hit cancel. I can do the second option, which is getting it from my inventory list. And so here if we say name contains file as an example. So this is pulling up from my software inventory every piece of software that has a file in the name of that software. Okay, so if I don't know what I'm looking for and I just know some basic things, I can do it that way. My third option here, I can define one on the spot. So maybe we don't have it in the inventory, it's not in the catalog, and I want to define it right now. So I can do it that way. And then I have my fourth option. So here I can go out to a specific machine and then get a file that way. So here we could go, say, to a specific device. Now it's going to let me peruse the drives on that device. So I'm going to go into this FileZilla and we'll grab this executable. And you'll see it's plugged in all the information with respect to version, file name, checksum, the file size. We'll say OK. And you'll notice here it's dropping it under my custom applications. And then we're going to go next. But again, I'm just walking through the wizard and answering these questions, and it's basically building this package up for me to prohibit a specific piece of software from running the environment. The next step here is to assign objects. So I'm going to go next. And you'll remember what these icons mean from before. So we'll say I'm going to do this for just this one box. And then finish. Now I've already built this up, so what we're going to do is go and look at it. Let's just say cancel. So what it's going to throw us, I'm going back under my console here, and then just a quick way to get some of that real estate back, I'm just collapsing it, and we're going to go under application management. Okay? So we're going to scroll down. We've got this FileZilla application. So there I'm able to see, again, everything that we built up as it pertains to this file. You'll remember I talked about that schedule template. So if we take a look at what those look like, I didn't assign it to a specific application, but I will show you kind of how you would build it up, and then you can assign applications to utilize this schedule, or as you're building it up, just like we saw before, I can say, and use this schedule template. But here I'm basically saying from 12 to 5 a.m., green light, they can use it. So a little bit before starting time, 2 hours before, 2 hours after, they are not able to use it. And again, if they want to launch it at 1900 hours, then go for it. But you can build up various schedule templates that you want them to use and then assign it to your applications. Okay, so here I've done this and I've sent it off to a machine. So what I'm going to do is go to the endpoint that I said you're not able to run FileZilla. So here I'm just going to switch over to a Windows 7 machine. And come out here and we'll go to this FileZilla. Now what you're seeing is it appears momentarily, just kind of so you're able to see it, but you'll notice really quickly it's saying the following applications are prohibited. And so they're able to see at this point who's done it, so they can see quickly, okay, IT is saying I can't use this. And then at that point, you'll probably get some type of incident that they need the ability to use this, and then they can explain to you why, and then you can, if you opt to, then put them on the authorized list. But again, it's just information at your fingertips. Okay, so here let's go back to my Asset Core server, and let's go to the third option. So again, I'm just back to Wizards, Application Management. and we're going to configure a licensed software. You'll notice when I chose the option 3, that this became available. So if I wanted to add a PO or some type of information attachment to this particular license, I can do that at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and hit next. And we'll call this, and again, my evaluation types, I have my catalog, my scanned applications. The query is if you wanted to run a query against all the software that it found. So you would say something like, tell me all the applications where the name has FileZilla in it or file. And then that would be a query that's available for you from this list. Here we'll just go ahead with software catalog. I'm going to say next. You'll notice on the left, I've got basically 5 steps that I need to do. So here we're going to assign, again with this screen we've seen before. Let's come out and do category, and we'll say Office Suite. We'll say this one. We're going to add it. Okay? So there I've got some details about that specific application. I'm going to add my licenses. So here we're going to go ahead and hit the plus, and then I have a plethora of information that I can fill in. Now I got a question the other day. Can we import this? So let's say your software vendor is providing you a file that has everything you've purchased. So can you import that and not go through this? Yes, and I'll show you how you do that in just a second. But here I would put in, for an example, any of my information. So we'll say this is Microsoft Corp. You give it a SKU, PO number, cost. Maybe it's a site license, serial number, whatever. You get the point here. Warranty and support information you can enter. When did we purchase it? When did we actually receive it? I'm supposed to get it Friday, and we're going to put it into play, let's say March 1st. March 4th is March the 3rd, whatever. And we'll say okay. So there we've entered some information about this specific license. Now the next thing here is assigning devices. So I'm going to go ahead and say next. And we're going to say all devices. And we're going to switch. So this I didn't do before, but we'll show you how easy that is to do. So all my devices are authorized to use that specific piece of software. And we'll say finish. And we'll go to that licensed software. You can see over here on the left, it's put me the RS test. I've got 18 authorizations. I can see I have a handful that have it installed. So this, again, this executive dashboard is what we saw before. Couple other tabs here. If I wanted to do an attachment after the fact, I can do that. It's just simple. Come in here, add attachment, and this is going to allow you to browse out in your environment and grab something. So we'll just grab that as an example. Okay. The applications, we entered the licenses. That was what we entered. But again, you can come in after the fact and make any changes that you need to just by double-clicking on that particular row. Okay. So the other question was, can I import that from my vendor? So yes. It's just a simple right-click on that software license management and import the license data. And you see we provide you with an import file. So you can see what that needs to look like. We'll bring this up really quickly. And this is basically the format that it needs to have that you need to fill in to pull that into Asset Core. Okay? So you'll have that ability. All right, so let me just minimize that. And I'm going to go back into Asset Core. And let me do one other thing here is look at some of the out-of-box reports. So here again, let me just collapse that. Down here at the bottom, you have your reports. We'll scroll down so we can see. You have a hive for software license management. So quickly I could see those licenses that are expiring. I believe I ran this one earlier. Let's just confirm. Yes. And you can see I requested HTML and PDF. So we'll just do a quick right-click. We'll go ahead and do a view. And I want to look at that, let's say, in HTML, and we'll say OK. So what it's doing is throwing me out and let me see in HTML format the ones that are expiring or have expired. So I can see serial number, purchase date, and then the expiration date. So this is a canned report. If it looks how you want it to look, great, you can run with it. If it doesn't, you have a base, maybe you want some additional fields here, you could just simply clone this report and add some more data points. I'm going back to the console. You can see as well, I've got a software catalog summary, my under licensed software. One other thing to note for the reports, let's choose this one that's expiring, because sometimes there's the question, my procurement group needs access to this information, I don't want to give them, log in to the console, what can we do? Can I email it to them? So yes, you can. So when you land on any report, you'll have this mail tab, and I'm just going to right click, and you can see I can send this, it looks just much like you would any mail client. Who do you want to send it to? Who's getting copied? Who's getting blind copied? What's the subject? Any verbiage you want to put in the body? What's the format that you want to provide them? Again, XML, HTML, PDF, and then finally I'm going to attach that report to the mail. So you can do that, and you can also schedule this. All right, so we'll just say into the actual schedule. So this is the scheduling for how often you want this report to run. So is it something that you need to run daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, etc.? You can see from this frequency that it's quite granular how often you want to run this report, and again, have it available to others in your environment. Again, so that's going to be on every report. You're able to schedule it, and you can email it out of the system. Okay, here I'll just hit cancel. The last option you'll notice here is publish. So sometimes maybe you have this tool for your systems management, you have a network tool, and maybe you're having those reports go to a central location and then having your procurement look at that central location. When you do this publish, that gives you the ability to do that. I'm just going to do a right click and create an export. And here, again, my format, so XML, HTML, PDF. What's my protocol there? So if I'm going to send it up to an FTP site, to an HTTP site, you'll notice by file, I really don't have any options there, but when I say HTTP, then the username, password, host, port, path all become available for me to provide data points. So then on whatever schedule you set, it's going to send this report up to wherever you created that publish to go. And so then they're going to be able to pull the report from there.